Ultraman Omega Episode 1 was a great start. I liked it a lot. You can check out my reviews on it to hear my full thoughts on it. Ultraman Episode 2 doesn't quite deliver. While I found that Ultraman Omega Episode 1 was hard-hitting and it was very exciting, there was a lot going on, the action in this episode was a step down for me. And while the story beats were good and the character moments were as good, there was something lacking in the action, which I find interesting, especially because the writer and the director for the first two episodes are the same people. What I mean is the writer for episodes 1 and 2 is the same writer, and that is Toshizo Nemoto, and the director, Masayushi Takasue, is the director for episodes 1 and 2. And when I went back and looked at their other works in Arc and in Blazar, I was shocked because, let me just tell you, they both worked on the same episodes of Blazar, for sure, being Night of Insects Chirping, which was one of my favorites, and Battle in the Sky, which is also very good. Battle in the Sky has a lot of character focus, and I thought the action was really good. Night of Insects Chirping was, I think, a lot of fun action, and also it was a decent character story. But to go back to, let's see, going past Blazar, what about Arc? So the director worked on more episodes than the writer of Blazar. Yes, that's correct. And then for Arc, it was 5, 9, 16, and 19. For Arc, it was 5 and 19 that they both worked on. The director also worked on episode 4 of Arc on the Kaiju's Tail, which was with the Nezumoto, the giant rat. Nezumoto, which is the giant electric rat. Like Raichu, Pikachu, whatever. Ocean on the Mountain Ridge, which was a fun one. Welcome to the Akabone Inn, which is a great episode in a lot of different ways. Message, which I think was just okay. Are You Givas, or You Are Givas, which I love the Givas episodes. Those are great action. And Art Cooperation Request was okay as part of the crossover set of 4 episodes, which is crazy, and then the Transcending Wish, which is the final episodes of those, I think, which had a lot of good direction in it, in my opinion. So then for The Alien, The Scholar, and I, it was weird that the action had such a downgrade and it wasn't as dynamic, the combat. I did enjoy, however, the character introduction of Ayumu and the coming up of Omega's human name, Sorato something. Let's see if I can find it quickly here. Sorato Okita, and I like how Kosei just makes that up on the spot, and how they're still working out their dynamic where Omega wants to say things that he shouldn't be saying, and that Kosei says, like, I won't make you yakisoba, or what was the other thing? I can't remember what the other thing was, but he's like, I won't make you this and fried noodles anymore. And that was a lot of fun. So he's, food motivated, and it's funny because I referred to him as the hobo Ultraman, the hobo alien, previously in my first review, and I think that holds true. He's, lost his memories, and so he's this amnesia that we know about, but the way that expresses itself is that he kind of randomly knows things. He knows that the monsters are called Kaiju, and I have a theory that I will share in a little bit after I'm finished talking about the episode as a whole, and he knows he's hungry, and he has, these simple basic things like, oh, if I use my power too much, like jumping, hundreds of feet while holding you, Kosei, it's going to make me hungry, and using my powers in the fight is going to make me hungry as well. I think we have the 3-minute time limit, but it hasn't been made clear yet. It might be that's his hunger limit, like, oh, I'm going to be so hungry if I don't eat right now, if I keep fighting, it's going to be bad, because at one point Kosei says, there's the Kaiju, transform, go fight it, and he's like, it's nothing, the Kaiju's not hurting anybody, why am I going to do something about this Kaiju? It's not a threat, it's not an issue, which it's played for comedy, but it also has a good character moment, because we got to see a flash of Omega in the beginning of the first episode where he was on this planet battling an entire, like a colony of insect-type Kaiju, the mother Kaiju and her little baby insects who were attacking him, and then he blows up the planet. Was it good that he blew up the planet? Was it bad that he blew up the planet? We don't know. What was he doing there? Why was he doing what he was doing? Again, we do not know. It seems to have had a negative consequence on him in that he ended up getting injured, falling to Earth, to an Earth that has no Kaiju, and then he happens to be there when Kaiju awaken, and he has to deal with them there on that planet. And again, we don't know if it was good or bad what he did. And he doesn't seem to have overly violent tendencies. He's very chill. He's very calm. Again, we get to see him in battle with his arms just hanging down and waiting for the kaiju to attack him before he responded in kind. And even when it came to the end of the battle, he injured the kaiju a couple times, but it's, injuring it let all this poisonous, noxious gas out. And he remembers that Drugrid has this ability to shoot out this toxic gas, but he says it, spews it at you when you're fighting as like a, bioweapon attack type thing. But he was inadvertently, when he was injuring it, causing the toxin to come out, and it was damaging the forest and the woods and the water and whatever around the dam. And then in order to counter that, to stop the injury from leaking out this toxic gas, he hits it with his beam, and when he does that, he completely obliterates it and destroys it and neutralizes the gas, the noxious fumes. So I think he took that step to kill it in that way to neutralize the effect of the poison, and like the fight was going to end with him killing it anyway, but it's interesting to see how he went about killing it. He killed it in a cleaner way that's going to do the least damage to the least life, by killing it with this obliterating attack versus by cutting it up like he did with Gurm, I think it was the other kaiju from the first episode. And it feels like there's something significant to that, but I don't quite know what it is yet. And part of the reason it feels that way too is because Ayumu speaks of kaiju as being, she speaks about how she's a researcher of endangered species, and because kaiju is outside of everybody's field of expertise, they're pulling together all the resources they can in order to have people deal with the situation by using all the resources at their disposal, she being one of them. And I was almost expecting her to say something about this kaiju being something that should be kept alive, should be tested, should be protected because it's like an endangered species. And she talks about it as if it is a normal creature, like, oh, it's amphibious, maybe it grew during its hibernation, and because the water was diverted away from here with levees like 100 years ago, that created issues. I'll address that more at a different point because there wasn't enough there to make it seem like it's a big deal. So I'll wait till there's evidence and see where the show takes it. But then Kosei says that Sorato is his cousin, and he's been away in the mountains for years studying stuff since he got out of high school, and he is now in sort of studying kaiju, and he predicted that the kaiju would appear, and that's why they're there in that location, which is a good cover up. And being that she's a researcher, I could see Sorato getting roped into researching kaiju as well. I think it's an interesting conceit to bring them all together, and I think it could be fun. I like that he smells out where kaiju are. That's really fun that Sorato can sniff them out and find them like that. It's like a really cool thing. And then he wonders why they can't. So it's a lot of, fish out of water, alien, human, clashing of culture and understanding of how things work, which is a lot of fun. And then something else that I wanted to mention is, I'm not sure what. But anyway, overall, I liked it. I liked the character story. I liked what was going on with that, but the action just felt like it was lacking to me, and that's too bad because it is an action show, and we should have good, hyped action. And it's ironic because the first episode had good action, and the director is capable of doing really good action, high energy action, high stakes, and it didn't happen this time. And anyway, I wonder what you thought about the episode. I'd like to hear your full thoughts on it. And one more thing, my theory. Tell me what you think about this theory. I think that somehow Sorato Omega had all the aliens, all the kaiju nested with him, and when he blew up that planet and fell from the stars with his amnesia, somehow when he landed, the kaiju were seeded into the earth in that area, and they'll come out. What do you think? And what do you think of the episode? Check out my full review. No, this is the full review. Check out my other reviews. Check out my playlist full of Ultraman Omega coverage. And then also check out this trailer for this thing I made. It's a book about little creatures using weapons of light to fight monsters. Magical bugs battle monsters in this exciting fantasy adventure. Gremlings prey upon children. Growbugs protect them. When a gremling finds a hidden growbug fort, the whole flock makes a surprise attack. How will the growbugs survive? Find out in Mockwing Mayhem. Learn more at growbugs.com, where you can find out more about our mailing list, receive behind-the-scenes information, and get all the latest news on the growbugs.